Hello everyone, welcome to this talk about accounting and knowledge. I think I'm going to present probably one of the best examples why when you work in Odoo and you can connect your applications together, you actually benefit from the power of both. And sometimes the power of both can be even better than the sum of each individual power. So welcome, I am Christophe Klopfert. I'm one of the product owners of accounting. I am also presenting here work that has been done by my colleague Luc, who is the product owner for the knowledge application. If we have time, we're going to take some questions at the end of this presentation. So there is a QR code, otherwise it's pat.odoo.com/p/audit brochure. So, what am I talking about today? There is one part of the accounting in general in which Odoo hasn't really dabbed too much in the last years. Yes, you can do your day-to-day accounting, doing your invoices, doing your tax returns and all that stuff. Even that has been improved, you've seen it already. But that's not the entire work of an accountant. Periodically, accountants are due to report, whether internally or publicly for the large companies that need those kind of reports published online. They need to propose a document resuming the financial situation of the company, what has been done during the year, what are the results, maybe some analysis depending on the situation, the products, the region, whatever, with a bunch of like standard reports, the balance sheet, the profit and loss, really to be transparent about the situation of the company. So what type of documents will we find here? We have usually a beautiful document. It's a nice PDF. It contains a bunch of reports that are coming from our accounting. It's structured with sections. You can see here that, by the way, that's a report that I found online. That's the Nestlé Group, a very big company from Switzerland, and they have to publish those kind of reports. It's integrating a bunch of stuff, data from the accounting, like the balance sheet, the profit and loss, some custom analysis. It even includes sources from other partners, like typically it would be the audit report from your auditor that you just want to include into that report, into something that looks nice, is easy to navigate, and also includes a lot of comments, sections, developments, and explanation about the situation of the company. Well, Odoo hasn't done that yet, but we wanted to see what's going on, and by analyzing a bit the situation, we found out a bunch of typical frustrations that can happen when you have to produce such a document. First of all, as I've said, the data comes from multiple sources, mainly accounting, and too often the accounting software is like separate from the rest of your tools. And then the guy that has to prepare that document, he has to extract, print, or ask a colleague for the balance sheet, the updated profit and loss and things like that, and put that in his documents. Not only is that a bit tedious, but on top of it, it could be dangerous or slightly out of date because it's like a print that is done once, and then maybe the next day you have a head of accounting making a correction in the accounting for the past year because they discovered something, and then now the numbers that you got are not up to date anymore. So all that kind of frustrations that would benefit from having an integrated software. And then how do you make that beautiful report? Well, it depends really on the company you're in. Like big companies, they have time and money to hire consultants to produce those beautiful reports. Small companies, they don't. And so the look and feel of their report will typically depend on the skill with Word of their accountant, which is not typically what they're asked to do the rest of the time. It's also very often a collaborative document. You need input from different people, or there are multiple people working on different sections of that document. Sure, if you work in Microsoft Teams or a Google Doc, you have those integrations, but maybe that's not the case. Why not using the collaboration tools you have in an integrated software? And at the end, you need to produce that PDF, make it online, make it available to anyone. Well, that's sometimes a bit hard to do as well if you're only working on a Microsoft Word that is installed on a computer. So all those small frustrations that we've seen, we thought it was about time for us to propose something about it, and let's see how it works. So I'm done with my slides, it's only demo now. So we'll start into an accounting database. Of course, you start with accounting. You probably have seen that entirely new menu that we have now in 19. It contains a bunch, we've put there a bunch of stuff that are linked to everything related to audit, review, declaration and stuff like that. And you will find a new audit report here, which is a way for you to create those audit reports. So I have one, but I will do a new one from scratch. So it's as easy as that. You click new, we will come out with a proposal of a template. We've built that template based on the things that we've seen being the main sections in a financial report. You'll see we'll dive into what's going on, but it's also possible to do something completely new on your own. Am I in the right place? Yes, I do. Okay, so I will load a financial report for 2024. You see here, I will select a period that's going to be very relevant afterwards. It's typically the thing that you need to do. You do a financial report over a financial year. In this case, it's going to be 2024. Yes, I know. I am a bit late to do that, but better late than never. It's as easy as that. As I create it, I can always go back and edit my configurations, add some colors, whatever. I can just click on it and I'll be straight into what's going on. Oh, by the way, that's still my old one. I'll just delete it. Okay, so I'm in there. I don't know if you're familiar with knowledge. So it's just a big, complex knowledge article. So from there, you are able to reuse all the powerful tools and powerful edition tools that we have in knowledge. But you'll see it's not a typical simple accounting knowledge article. There's a bit more hidden. I will go into the details right now. But knowledge basics, you can just drag and drop sections. Let's say that for whatever reason I want my profit and loss on top of it. It's automatically updated. I can move my sections. I can also delete ones. Let us say that I'm a software company. I have no real inventory, so I'm not interested into that section. I can delete it very easily. I don't need it, okay? Oh, but I am a software company, but I also sell some stuff. I needed that section. How do I get it back? Well, you just click here and you can put back your section, and we now have it back where it needs to be, okay? So no worries, you deleted something that you didn't want, you can add it back. And you will also see that we are proposing additional sections. So when I created my new report, I used a bunch of the standard sections, the one we know are probably mostly requested in almost all the time, but you can add other ones depending on your situation, your company, your business. For example, I might be required to report on everything related to research and development costs. And as simple as that, now I will have my R&D cost into my report. Okay, I can still move them around, no worries. You can do that. It's also entirely feasible to create your own. Let's say I have assets here. I would like to maybe, where am I going to add something? I will add something here. I will add something on, I want to speak a bit about the portfolio and the investments that I've done. So I want to have my own sections which is talking about investments, and I will do just a word about my portfolio. And here I might want to add an image that I got from the internet, obviously, by my accountant, by anyone that can help me produce that document with. You can do whatever you want here, specific analytics based on the situation of your company. And because I know much about it, I will ask AI to make me a message. Why is it a good idea to invest in the Australian market, and it's staying harder than me. Oh, that's a nice one. I use it, bam. And now I have it in my article. That's not the end. Diverse markets, I can also do this and say, can you elaborate a bit on it? I don't know if he gets that. Okay, I use it. Perfect, I will use that. Okay, so you have all the power that you have in that edition, some AI stuff. Please don't do your financial reports based on AI, you know better than that. But you can still use it to make corrections, translations, whatever you have, it's available by hand. And now I have my nice article. Might not be exactly where it needs to be. Okay, I want to put it maybe in the financial position, something like that. Okay, and that's at the right place where I want it to be. Okay, so you have all those possibilities to add articles manually, move them around, and do whatever you want. Okay, but that's for the manual stuff. What about the automatic stuff? So I will dive a bit into all the sections and show you all those sections that we've pre-built and that come with automation. So the first that I want to show, let's put back the balance sheet where it needs to be. You see here it's an integration with the balance sheet of my company directly from accounting. This is dynamic, it is done automatically, and the report will remind what are the options that I choose to use in this context specifically. So let's say that I want in my audit brochure not only a comparison with last year, which is typical in financial reports, but I would like to have 2 years and in another direction. I just do that. I go back to my report. He knows it back. He will remind that this is the options that I've chosen, and from there I can have that report printed how I want it to look like. Okay, so those are for the report integration. What do we have more? Dynamic fields. So for now it's set to a specific set of dynamic fields, so that report will actually be, when it's going to be generated, those fields, those variables will be replaced dynamically, but by the context of your report. So in this case, I've asked, you remind yourself when I created, I asked for a report for 2024. So here is going to just input the last day of my period or the total balance sheet for that period as well. Okay, so you can also use those dynamic variables so that you don't have to manually correct your report every single year. It's going to be done automatically. So we have integration of reports, we have dynamic placeholders, manual edition, we have editable sections as well. So let's say, I think there will be many subsections integrated into the asset information. But let's say that I'm already doing a specific section for investments, so I might not need those two ones. I'm going to tackle them in another entry. We propose to you a bunch of sections which are typical in those. You can deactivate them with just a click, so that you have the control about what is going to be included in your end report. So that's another thing. Toggleable sections is also part of the functions that we propose. What else? Oh yeah, supporting documents. You've seen the example that I've shown before. Sometimes I have to include a report that is done by an auditor. Okay, so that's a bit more complex. I have to basically click here, and I go here, and I go here, and it's done. And now that report from my auditor is going to be printed with my PDF at the end of the day. I have nothing else to do. Okay. What else can I show you? Signatures. Most of the time, those documents need to be signed, so that's also very hard to do. You just click here, and then you get your signature input dynamically. I can ask a colleague to countersign this. I can ask an auditor to sign this again. If you do not know yet the power of Odoo signature, it is obviously integrated here. It's great to see that in action, okay? So I've shown you the power of knowledge, and I've shown you the additional features that we've built on this report. That's going to be amazing for that. I wanted to also tackle a bit on the collaboration stuff. You've seen that by default, this is an accounting article that is created in a private environment, which makes sense. I'm the only one responsible for it right now. And while I'm working on it, I might not want anybody else than me to have a look at what's going on. But it's very easy to just ask other people to do that. If I go back to the annual report here, I could just ask Mardimo to start helping me building the article, and now automatically, because it's a shared article, it has been moved to a shared repository for the knowledge articles in Odoo, and now he can also edit that report with me. Only him and I are able to edit that report directly. But then that does not mean that that's the only thing that you can do. On the site, you still have all the power of the discuss application. So I can go into a specific article here and then maybe ask my colleague, hey, Mark, do we need sections for others? I don't know. And then he gets a ping. So he knows, he gets a message, depends on his configuration, a ping or a notification in his Odoo that I've pinged him on this article. He can open it in one click, see what I'm talking about. We can work together getting that solved. More than that, you have the typical edition tool. Let's say that I'm removing this. Whoop. I'm removing that section, I save it. Well, it has been saved automatically, so cool. And now Mark comes here and he says, we're missing a detail. You can always go back to the version history, see what has been going on that article, and even compare it with the previous version. And I see, oh, someone actually removed that section. Maybe I want to have it back. I can copy paste it, or I can just restore entirely the article as it was. So I think I've tackled almost most of the frustrations that we've already discussed at the beginning of this presentation. Integrate of dynamic data. No need to ask for too many people to produce it. I have something that is nice to use. I don't need to be an expert in Google Doc. It's just a very easy editor. We have all the power of the collaborative tools of Odoo, including Discuss, Sign, and all that stuff directly integrated into that. Well, at the end, I'm probably only missing one stuff, which is, well, yeah, but how does it look like? So you can print it by sections, or you can print it entirely, and then you just ask for an export in PDF. You have options. You can include all the sub-articles. You can include or not the sub-PDFs that I've asked. I will ask for everything. Then I will ask Odoo to work a bit, because it's quite a document that I'm producing here. But after some seconds, I have my PDF. And I have a nice financial report. It's a cool PDF. It's full navigation stuff, so I can directly jump into the sections. I can look at my profit and loss report that has been added automatically. You remind that the balance sheet, I changed the columns, I changed the order, it has been input automatically as well. My supporting documents, no, my beautiful auditor report is fully integrated into my financial report. It looks sleek. I have my signatures added automatically. You've seen that the fields have been published automatically. I have everything I want. And now I have a nice PDF. All right. So now the only thing that I'm left to do, I can share that to the outside world. I can get that PDF and have that in the document app and publish on my website. I think you probably have even more crazy ideas of everything that you can do with that feature than me. I hope it's going to give you some ideas. I am pretty sure that very quickly you are going to come up to us with, oh, I would like that report, and do ESG reports with Odoo as well. It's coming. We will be developing that templating system to cover even more cases. I think this is just a presentation to show you a completely new feature, and I will leave your imagination working a bit with all the stuff that we can do in the future with it. Thank you very much.
Questions actually from the people in the room. The first question is there any way to modify the design at all, or will this require custom elements studio as such?
For now, it's going to require customization, but it's still a template, so it's possible to edit it. For now, we've come up with one presentation, so of course you're going to want to load all your designs and your beautiful PDFs as well. You see that there are some customization already possible, like the integration of my logo was done automatically and things like that. But for now, that look and feel is a pre-made one. We propose it out of the box. To customize it completely, it will require a bit of knowledge with like the templating system, and that stuff is not entirely customizable by a user. It's doable, but it's going to be for advanced users.
All right. Perfect. We have the next question. What was the source to make a structure like the following? What competing softwares were used?
So it's actually pretty hard to cover all cases. We've looked at a bunch of very obvious repos. For the big companies, it's easy to find. The public companies have to make those reports available, so we select a bunch of those. We make like the smallest denominator in common that they have together, so to see what are the sections that people typically do. You probably know that we are a company as well, so that kind of report we have to do it as well. So we also can take our own. It's basically a summary of many different templates that we've seen. We took the sections that look the most obvious, but depending on your situation, you can add your sections, your analysis in it. I made a very quick example during the presentation, but it's entirely feasible.
All right, great. I see next question here. Very good question, actually. Is the report available in other languages? I imagine we have clients a little bit everywhere. They say they made the report in a Dutch version of Odoo, however, it was in English.
Yes, the basic report I think is in English, but our translation team can now work on it to get it translated in the languages. So it's going to come, I think, over the next weeks. Give the time to our translation team to translate the basic report that we had in English in all the languages that we support. And then from there, it's going to be available out of the box. The rest of the input that you do, it's in the language that you want to use, obviously.
All
so
right.
it's coming, but 80, 100 languages, it will take just a bit of time for our translators to catch up with that big template that we produced.
I imagine we will have to put some pressure for the Dutch and Flemish market.
Yes.
Have any accounting firms validated the format?
Well, no, not particularly, but we are kind of sure of the template that we are doing. We have not invented it. So it's something that we base our own audit report on. So we know those structures. They are very well known. For sure, it really depends on the situation. Again, no financial reports of two companies are exactly the same. What we propose here is a strong base, but it will require some particular analysis and particular explanation to really get into the detail of your financial situation of your company. But then you add it on top of those sections, and for the rest, well, accounting firms, let's take in Belgium, they know our balance sheet and our profit and loss for a while. They know those reports very well, and we just integrate those in that report now. So we are pretty sure they are good.
All right, perfect. I see we just have time for 2 more questions. There's a question, can you do formula computations in the report itself?
I will even tackle both of them together. And I knew that when I was giving the base, many people will say, and I will like additional fields computed with my own computation of whatever, and then I want my graph coming from any form view or graph view in Odoo. For now, it's not entirely possible to do it dynamically. You can still output the graph and put it manually in there. But this is coming for the next versions of this templating system. It's already like quite a hefty feature. What we want to do now for the future is add more customization possibilities to input dynamic fields and dynamic graphs directly in that templating system. For now, it's not available. It's coming for the next version, so I'm pretty sure about it.
All right. Well, Christophe, thanks once again for answering these questions. Thank you all for attending as well. Christophe, can we find you anywhere else today if should there be any more questions?
I'm always at the accounting booth, and there's typically 20 people in front of me, so very easy to find me.
All right. Perfect. Thank you once again, everyone. Have a good day.